CampaignPress was derived out of a challenge, the need to create better ads. And as somebody who has been creating ads in social media for about 20 years, sometimes the next headline is kind of tough. You're not sure the best approach for every product. And I would often wonder, what would this guru do? Or how about this marketing philosophy? How would they tackle getting the attention of the right prospects? If you have a very direct or specific idea, there's nothing wrong with going directly to ChatGPT or Claude to get some ideas. However, if you do this on a regular basis, re-entering the same information over and over again can be tedious, and the same prompt over and over again, or series of prompts, 2, 3, 4 prompts, still can get stale over time. So having the ability to create something new on a regular basis, but have the basic information at your fingertips that you're going to use every time is extremely valuable. And that's what this first step is all about. This is the brief page, and here you'll see Start Fresh. That means you're starting with a new business or brand. We'll start here with CampaignPress. So what makes us different? Well, we create ads that sell by tapping into the concepts from the great minds and marketing philosophies. We can create paid ads or social media content, and we can create ads in social for a variety of different formats: Google, Facebook, Instagram, and so forth. But don't worry, even if you select Google right now, you still have the option later to change the formats at the very end. But right here is what I like to refer to as the secret sauce. If you want the AI to select the approach, just leave it as is. However, if you wish to explore a new approach, just click right here and you will see the various different styles. And many of these are from different marketing philosophies as well as gurus that you may know. Some who are alive today and some who are the legends of marketing, such as David Ogilvy. Not only can you approach your advertising with the big promise, you can combine different philosophies, such as blending the big promise with, being remarkable. And here's a slider in which you can decide the weight of each. 75% big promise, 25% be remarkable, or 60-40. You choose, and ultimately this gives you over 7,000 marketing philosophy combinations that you can test and use in your campaigns. You can decide on your campaign goal, let's say phone calls, and then you can fine-tune your brief. CampaignPress, who is your ideal customer? I'm just going to keep it simple, a person who regularly creates digital ads and social media content. More detail. Do you have a service area? Do you have a special offer? And here we can drag and drop our logo for color. And these colors will be supported throughout the process. From here, you can save your template to use later, and you'll find it saved in this drop-down at the top of the page for future use. And of course, each time you use it, all your brand information is right here, but you can always adjust the strategic style that you want to use or test in your next set of ads. You can click here to generate your campaign, or of course, the main button at the bottom. This process generally takes about 30 to 90 seconds to develop, as it develops headlines, descriptions, as well as keywords, negative keywords, and a profile of your best customer. Here's our campaign, and we can save this campaign right here, and you'll find it under My Campaigns for future use. So you can even skip the brief and go right to campaigns that you know you want to use and take into the imagery area as well as the banner studio, which we'll get into in a moment. And next to campaigns is My Gallery, where you can save imagery, headlines, descriptions, all sorts of information that you may want to use later or possibly use in a presentation, which we can create at the very end. As you see here are your best prospects, keyword suggestions, negative keywords, and then here, this is an area that I use a lot. I often don't go beyond this point because this is, for me, other than getting into very specific visual campaigns, I do a lot of search campaigns and I need headlines. And this is what I created this tool for and then expanded it for all types of uses. But what I will often do is go through here. We have conservative headlines, and these conservative headlines are generally what you get from Google and ChatGPT and Claude if you're not highly specific as to the style you want. But you can go bolder and then cutting edge. So initially you're starting off with 45 headlines. However, if you need more, just click on more. If you need more descriptions and so forth, and you certainly have additional display text available right here. You can copy, and as I mentioned, you can save. If you like stop prompting, start thinking, then just click save, and that will go directly to your gallery for future use. Going to the bottom, you can generate a launch kit. Here's the launch kit. Next, you can download this strategy to a PDF or move to the next section, which is creating imagery and video using these pain points and headlines in your advertising. Under imagery at the top, you'll have an initial AI direction for you, but you don't have to use this. You can just delete it and start fresh with maybe some of the ideas that you saw in the strategy section. Or you can say, no, I don't like this, but let's try something new, but let the AI figure it out. You have all of the art direction flexibility that you need in this process. Although it is an AI process, it's not completely dependent on the AI process unless you want it to be. If you want to be involved, understanding your client, understanding your experience with the brand and its customers, apply that knowledge to this process. Going down, additional art direction. In terms of the imagery, you have the option to use a couple models. This adjusts over time. We're currently using the newest model from OpenAI. If you have a reference image, you can add that. It'll show your gallery images that you can pull from, or you can upload a brand new image to save into your gallery. Or if you're in your gallery, you can upload an image directly there and use it later if need be. For example, one of my clients is an indoor play place, so I have to use actual images from the location. Going back to presets, you have multiple options here. If you click 2, it's going to show one of each. So if you want multiples of a certain style, make sure only one of these is clicked, and you have the option of how many from 1 to 7 images and of what quality. Quite often, preview is large enough to use within social and advertising, but if you need up to a 2K image, it is available. And I would recommend a standard size if you're going to create imagery or ads. You should probably have at least a standard for the final versions. Here are your aspect ratios. Let's do 2, preview style, and generate. If something happens or you hit the back button, the system should save your past work. And you'll find the opportunity usually at the top of the page to restore. If you don't like the images, you can always go back to the top and try something different. A busy art director frustrated at their desk trying to create a catchy headline. I like that. Let's warm it up. Increase the intensity. Lighting, soft or dramatic. I'm going to go a little dramatic. Style strength, we'll leave where it is. We'll use the newest model, lifestyle, candid. Preview. Let's see what we get. And your previous versions are found below. If you end up clicking on 5 or 7 and you will just want to stop, just click the stop and it will end the process. There we go. I like this one. You can certainly create more imagery, but if you found one that you like, you can certainly save it to your gallery. Expand this image into a standard size or even 2K, but do note that sometimes there will be little changes in the process. It's not necessarily interpolating them higher, they're just recreating the image in a larger format or the style of image in a larger format. So you should make note of that. You can preview in Banner Studio or turn it into a video. We'll create a video in the gallery. Let's go to Banner Studio. And here's the last section. This is where we create our imagery. Your ad needs an ancestor. But if you don't like that, you can certainly go back to Strategy and Copy and find a headline that you do like. Make ads people talk about. Copy that. Go to Banner Studio. And let's see, we'll put that in right there. You have options as to where the image is placed. You just click adjust and you can adjust the image because it doesn't always automatically, like this one. Work out, there you go. You can adjust the overlay. As you can see, the brand colors followed through, and you can change fonts. You have a selection here, as well as the color of the font. As I promised before, you can always change the ad format. If you want to go to Facebook, Instagram, again, you can adjust, set, download. If something happens during the process, this is the banner that will bring back your work. Of course, if you've saved your campaign, it'll be right here, and your gallery. So to create your deck, click on the little checkbox for the pieces you want in your deck. Now, you can certainly divide it up by the brands that you have saved. This is all the brands, so we'll just click a number of different elements and we'll put it in our presentation. And of course, as I mentioned, you have multiple types of elements, including logos and headlines. We've selected 7 assets. Create a name. We'll just use our presentation. You have presentation style options, and you can decide if you want a PDF or a PowerPoint. We'll do a PowerPoint. Click Create Deck. Here you go. Click Download. And here's the presentation that starts with the basic concepts and the colors. Of course, all of this is editable, so you don't have to keep the information that's displayed here, but it certainly gives you a starting point. You can turn your images into video from the gallery or from the image page. If you feel a tool like this could support your ad and social media development, well, check around. There are codes floating around the internet all over the place that you can use to get some free points, but that's the only way you can test it for free. You have to find the referral codes or ask somebody who is already using the system. They have referral codes available for you to test drive CampaignPress. CampaignPress helps solve many of my ad creation problems, and it can solve many of yours too.